Way back on the 16th of October 2020, we reported on several senior Gwent police officers who were being investigated over allegations of inappropriate sexual behaviour at a leaving party for former Chief Constable Julian Williams. At the time, Chief Superintendent Marc Warrender, head of CID for Gwent Police, was suspended, as was temporary Assistant Chief Constable Marc Budden, after allegations from a female officer who had attended the party of an alleged sex attack. The IOPC back in 2020 said that following a year-long investigation, they had supplied the Crown Prosecution Service with files to consider charges against the men. On the 30th of March this year, we reported that there were in fact 3 senior Gwent police officers who were to face misconduct proceedings, the third man being Chief Inspector Paul Staniforth, and were told at the time that the hearing will be held in private, with absolutely no media and no public being allowed to attend, following a ruling by the panel chair. This decision was criticised by Senate members, with one saying the hearing being made public is the only way the community can rebuild trust with the force. Budden and Warrender have both been on paid suspension since 2019, and it was estimated that between the pair they had received a combined gross total of more than £500,000 in wages whilst sat off on suspension. The IOPC sent their investigation file to the CPS in March 2021, but the CPS said they would not be pressing charges. A Crown Prosecution Service spokesperson said, following a referral of evidence by the IOPC regarding the alleged conduct of 2 senior police officers, the CPS has decided that our legal test is not met to charge them with any offence. We considered the offence of sexual assault against one officer and misconduct in public office and the improper exercise of police powers against the second officer. Now, although criminal charges were not laid against the officers, the misconduct hearing still went ahead, and I have to say I'm actually shocked at the outcome. Warrender, Budden and Staniforth were accused of having an inappropriate conversation with a junior member of police staff during a leaving party. Warrender was also accused of inappropriate touching during the evening when the officers bade farewell to their chief constable. Budden, however, was accused of failing to challenge or report the conduct of Chief Superintendent Warrender in regard to the alleged inappropriate touching, and also of failing to disclose relevant evidence and or a conflict of interest in relation to the same matter. It was also alleged that Budden provided various dishonest accounts about his conduct and was accused of engaging in inappropriate behaviour whilst on duty. Gwent Police did not specify which of the allegations had been proven in a gross misconduct hearing, other than to say that all 3 officers were put on the College of Policing's barred list, preventing them from working for any police force in Britain. Warrender retired before the misconduct hearing, but was ruled to have been dismissed without notice had he still been serving. Budden and Staniforth were both dismissed without notice. Deputy Chief Constable Amanda Blakeman said, "This outcome sends a clear message that these kind of behaviours will not be tolerated within Gwent Police. The public expects high standards of integrity from us, and where officers abuse their positions of power, they will be held to account. Over the past 3 years, we've reflected on behaviours and changed our culture. We've made great strides in reinforcing the standards we expect from everyone in our service, regardless of rank. This event was a stark reminder to us that the highest standards of behaviour must be upheld by all on or off duty. Every day, the vast majority of our officers behave with professionalism and honesty when serving their local community, and behaviour such as this let us all down. Our focus has remained on the needs of the victim and ensuring that anyone within the force or within our community feels confident to come forward and report unacceptable behaviour to us, and that they will be believed and supported. The Chair's decision to hold the hearing in private meant the individuals in this case felt able to participate in the process. Taking action against senior officers is a huge step for colleagues, and we can only applaud the courage of the individuals who came forward and participated in this complex investigation. Now, although the hearing has had a positive outcome, we're not the only ones worried that it was held behind closed doors. I mean, these were top brass, top plod. Who's to say that they weren't all sat around drinking tea, discussing how they got away with dragging it out for so long and walking away with more than $500,000 between them in wages while suspended, talking about their pensions, laughing and joking and agreeing on the dismissal between them in exchange for a few extra quid in their pension pot or something like that. Now, I know that does sound mad, but when these hearings are held in private, we simply don't know what's gone on. And let's face it, it's certainly not beyond the realms of possibility that what I just said couldn't happen. Priti Patel kept saying misconduct hearings should be held in public unless strict criteria was met to allow it to be held in private. Let's now see if Suella Braverman can do anything different. Suella Braverman, who was the Attorney General for England and Wales from 2020, has taken Priti Patel's position. Now, it's interesting to me that they've picked another person to deal with policing and our borders who has a foreign background, rather than picking someone to be in charge of policing and borders who has a more British heritage. Now, I'm sure it means nothing, and she will actually do what's right for the country rather than the woke few. And no, I'm not being racist, I'm being realistic. The best people to run a country are those who have their foundations in that country and who understand that country and who put that country first and foremost before anything else.